everybody. Welcome back to Inspired Action Life podcast. I'm your host, Karen Baldridge, and it would be an understatement to say I stepped away from the mic for a lot longer than what I had anticipated, or a lot longer than I ever had before. But I've been sort of going through a little bit of a rebrand. And I would even go as far as saying it's been a life rebrand as well as a business rebrand. Because you know what? Life's been lifing. And there's been a lot of new developments and oh my Lord, great big ton of uh, new growth and understanding about life and understanding about myself and things that have dropped in that I have had to not only deal with, but grow from. And oh my goodness, it's been incredible. But it's almost been where like I haven't felt called to be behind this microphone to kind of share it. It's almost like I've been growing behind the scenes a little bit and learning and um, being thrown into the fire a little bit more than what I saw coming or anticipated. So I don't know. Just recently now I have decided that, hey, it is time to get back into the game a little bit and not only share what I've learned, but also to kind of tell you what I'm up to and see if this resonates with any of you or if this is something that you want to join in this journey with me on because oh my gosh, it has really been mind blowing, I would say, even this last year. Just even though I thought I had done so much work in the space of mindset and being a certified coach and all of that, you would have thought that that alone qualified me to be a little bit more self-aware and understanding the intricacies of how mindset affects your life. But I can't believe it that there was even more to it. But what I came to learn is the importance of where all of these emotions and trials and tribulations of life store themselves within your body, and how if you don't address the body component of healing, you can only go so far with directing your conscious mind. Do you know what I'm saying? Making decisions from your conscious mind. Because your mind is finite. It only knows what it knows and it can react to stimuli and things. But the real work and the real power lies in the body. And that is where all the answers are. And that's like the keys to the kingdom. That is what drives this vehicle of yours, your own unique vehicle. So that sounds a little cryptic, I know, but so really today's episode is going to be really focused on how the body keeps score and how the wisdom of the body is where all the answers lie, and how to trust yourself because you've dug into the secrets that your body has been holding for you, and how to really lean into it and leverage that knowledge and power that is in there, and how to get it out, leverage it, and then integrate it into your life. And I have had all of this happen by way of two big developments for me. One of them is human design. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, what that means in the life of somebody who's more pragmatic of a person by nature, like myself, because human design is a little bit on the outside of your typical self-assessments like Enneagram and things like that. But also understanding the inner workings of the somatic healing components of your body and what it tells you and how to access it and all of that other stuff. So, without further ado, let's get started on that because I know that any listeners that I have had, which I hope you come back, or if you're still out there, welcome back. I'm so glad to have you. I'm just kind of your average girl, more midlife now, who's dealing with those really unique challenges that midlife presents. Because not only does your life change from the standpoint that there's a lot of things in transition. You've been in your career for a decently long time, and you may or may not still be loving it, or you may be tiring of it. Quite honestly, it gets to the point where it becomes redundant. And it's like you're asking yourself questions like, is this it? Is this all the better it gets? And I wish that I had done this, X, whatever that is. And knowing that you haven't, and now you're feeling like this giant clock is ticking over your head. Like now I don't have much time because, the world kind of discards people who have already gotten to the tail end of their career. There's almost like a situation of like a persona non grata situation where, we're looking for the fresh new blood, and the people who have been in the game for a while become a little less useful to us, right? So if anyone's run into that, then that is a real life situation. Or some of us are staring down empty nesting, like truly your kids are not only graduating from high school, but now I'm at the point where my kids are starting to graduate college. Just had one graduate this past weekend, and it felt very emotional for me. There's just an ending there. I don't know. It's a natural ending that all moms are predisposed to bristle at. Anything where you're having to close a chapter while there's excitement on what's the on the other side of this chapter, there is still a sadness where your other job of mothering has now come to an absolute end in a real sense, and you see them, luckily taking off and doing what you've groomed them to do. So obviously it's bittersweet. It's both. Right? You give them roots and wings. So there's those types of things. And if you have a business or if you have a career, again, also can be, hitting a ceiling there with that, as I had mentioned. Relationships also change during midlife because now the dynamics are different because your career is kind of, like at least if nothing else, it's on autopilot, right? And now your free time starts to pop up a little bit more. Now, who am I and what do I like to do during this free time? And how can I best utilize it to, if I want to pull more out of me? It feels like there's more in there that I want to do or give or create, but what is it? How do I find it? Because I've been placing too much attention on how to bring that out in my kids or how to give that to the career that I've already been nurturing for the last 25 years or more. So there is that. And so by virtue of that, your relationship dynamics will change, whether you're married or whether your dynamics have already changed and you were once married and now you're not married. And so what does that look like? What is it that I want? Who am I in this as this new single entity? Do I want to get married again? What if I bring in the same kind of situation? I don't want to do that, right? That's always a big one, especially if your first marriage was apparently wasn't perfectly what you wanted, or else you'd probably still be in it in the first place. Um, so those are just real questions that we have to deal with. And let's not even go to the physical component of how our bodies change. And not only physically, they could change, right? But also emotionally and all the hormones going wacko. And you don't know what's in balance, what's not out, what's not in balance. You fix one only to see that the other one falls off. I mean, it's like you have to be this perfect alchemist to get everything going at the same time. Hormones, health, fitness, blah, 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 your food. I mean, it can be sometimes a bit of a shit show because you're trying to figure yourself out as you go. So there's a lot of trial and error that happens in this time. So without, saying, it goes without saying, I should say that it's crazy. All right. And so a lot changes here. But I think the overarching thing, at least for me, and I know a lot of women that I have talked to, is what is next? And how can I make sure that, and this is the most important part, how can I make sure that whatever it is that's next is by design? By intention and not just like, oops, I'm reacting to this problem and oops, oh, here comes another issue and I have to react to that and oops, wouldn't it feel nice to be in control a little bit more and to feel like you're controlling your outcomes as opposed to just reacting to them and getting overly emotional because you know how that goes. Once you become overly emotional in any type of situation, then you've lost all power over it. So it's never going to swing in your favor exactly how you want it because you can't regain that control in your core of what it is that I want next or what outcome I want to see happen. So with all of those things and all of the blood, sweat, and let's talk about the tears, all of the crying, I think I've cried more in this past year than I have truly ever cried in my entire life. And it wasn't always even out of sadness. Sometimes it was just crying because I don't even know why. I would just cry. It's like things have been bubbling up. And then because when you're open to all of these life changes, what's been interesting is things that have been finding their way into my consciousness, into my life, things that come across my Instagram feed or podcasts that pop up for one way or the other. Maybe somebody shared an episode and I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. I wonder. So I click in and listen and oh my gosh, it was exactly the medicine that I needed. So that's how, things in the universe sort of happen, right? You respond to life. And so you respond to things that drop in. Well, that's the perfect segue into how human design found me because I say it that way because that's truly what happened. I had heard of human design because on a former podcast episode of mine where I was interviewing a woman who lives in California, she was talking about human design and how she had used that to do a career pivot. And she's like, "Do you know what human design is?" And I was like, "Oh, I had heard of it, which I really actually had heard the name human design." But honestly, I thought it was something different than what she was describing. But at that season of my life, I didn't dig any further into it. I just listened to her experience with it and how it definitely, went along to help her in her life and so on. But I really didn't investigate it, right? Because, like, spiritually speaking, I guess it just wasn't my time to know about it. So, let's fast forward like 2 more years and another situation where I think a podcast episode where somebody was talking about human design and she's like a teacher of human design came on and I found out like, geez, that's kind of interesting, some of the stuff that you can learn from human design. So at that point, I think I ran my chart. I did my human design. I followed her website. I ran my chart and I said, oh gosh, that's pretty interesting. Um, but it's a very complicated system. So I really didn't like dig too much because again, I was still, I think, in the thick of things in my life on my to-do list that I had to do that I didn't have enough free time to really just really dive into these nice to haves instead of the must haves. Do you know what I mean? Like we're so thick into our nice to haves or into our must haves that we don't have time for a nice to have situation. So with that, I think that what I did, so still, I did not dig all the way into it. Well, now let's fast forward to a little over a year ago, about a year and a half ago. I was on a retreat, a business mastermind retreat, and some of my friends in the retreat, my new, business mastermind friends and business owner gals, one of the women was talking about that. And so I guess I was just ready to hear it, like I was ready to hear about it. So she was talking about it and then running everyone's chart. She had like an app, she was doing it. And some of the stuff that she was saying that was on my chart, I was like, whoa, what? Like, what is that? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Because remember, if you'd ever seen a human design chart, that is the most confusing thing you've ever looked at. It is literally like a labyrinth. Unless you have somebody guiding you through it, you don't understand at all what you're looking at. You really have to go with somebody who has done the work to understand and interpret and even give insights from it, right? Because it's not just, you know, as you see it, it doesn't tell you anything. You have to dig down and get some insights on it. So she was telling me a few things, and I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting. I don't know. I'm sort of weirdly this time very drawn to it. And maybe it was because I was in the midst of a feeling like I needed to do a rebrand of my business. And I don't know, I guess I was just looking for something to kind of validate some of my ideas of the direction I wanted to take things with my event business and whatever. So, long story short, I really sort of dove into it after I got back from that retreat in San Diego. I really kind of dove headlong into it and started to really understand what all of the different components meant. I mean, it will take me years to really honestly master it, but the basic stuff that is the most usable part of your charts, I really started there, like the entry level pieces of information that, quite honestly, are the whole keys to the rest of it, is learning how to use what they call your strategy and authority. So I was all in, like just researching everything about like just that entry level part. And then I would pull like my spouse's chart and see like, oh, okay, what does he have? Oh, and now let's look at my kids' charts and well, what do they have? And really getting an understanding. And oh my gosh, it is like a fully complete view and understanding of them at a base level, like factory settings. You know what I mean? Like the factory setting level of how they tick and how they see the world and how they make decisions. And quite often it's way different than the way you do or that you were taught to make decisions. And for me, that was the most important thing. Why? Because I was searching for some verification on decisions that I was making and validations, which often drives most of us to, seek out coaches or seek out this or that or courses or whatever to be able to know, is this the right information that's going to like be that next level information that's going to get me where I want to go or bring the whole picture together. Sorry about that. To really, you know, um, bring all of my ideas out from my head into the world. And I just need some like hand holding, I guess. You just don't trust. Should I pick this podcast equipment or that podcast equipment? Should I join this networking group or that networking group? Or should I choose this marketing way or that marketing way? That type of thing. You know what I mean? That we pay lots of people to tell us the answers when in fact, what I came to find out, oh my God, is that the answers were there all along. Like the answers as should I do it or not, that type of thing. And am I building a business that is right for me, like in alignment for me, based on my factory settings, like I said. So and again, it's awesome as a parent to help guide and mentor your kids to make sure that they're choosing careers that are in alignment with their factory settings. Now, that doesn't mean that having a career that's not in alignment with your factory settings, that it won't work or you won't find success. That is not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is it's a lot harder. Okay. So you can succeed, but you have to work a lot harder and you have to struggle and strive and have that like grind that can lead to burnout, which is what we are often trying to avoid, is the whole burnout component, right? And so when you're doing things that are in alignment, honestly, you could do them for hours and hours and hours and never get sick of it. So that's how you know that things are in alignment for you. And so human design helps put scaffolding around that, so to speak. So it gives you like a mechanism to know when you're, like guardrails. So that way you know when you're off the path that you aren't supposed to be on. It helps you understand what the right path looks like, right? So between that and then finding a program that was like a somatic healing type of program, because what you also don't understand, what I was saying, the body keeps score. You will notice that oftentimes you will have ongoing chronic issues, whether it's high cortisol and all of the symptoms that come with that, or is that, like midlife hormone craziness. You're always trying to parcel all of these things out. Or why is my eye always twitching? Why is my eye always bloodshot? I don't know. Oh, are my lymph nodes swollen, or is that just, what is that? Or, there's just all these weird things that have popped up in your life. Or, oh my God, why did I just turn around and gain like 20 pounds? What is that? Like there's like so many different things that you just take for like, oh, that's just part of it. When in fact, if you actually knew, oh my God, what was going on emotionally in your body, that directly impacts your hormones, you would know that there is a reason that all of that is going on. And it's not just because you're getting older, air quotes. It's not that. There is a divine intelligence that is like giving you little SOS signals like, hey, help me. But you aren't paying attention to them because you do not know what they are. You don't know that that's even a signal. You have been told and conditioned, one of my favorite terms, conditioned to believe that that is normal, when in fact it is not. And what human design did for me is help me understand what is normal for me and what is just conditioning from the outside. People telling me that, oh, this is how it should go, or this is how you should feel, or this is what you should take for this, or this medicine does all these amazing things for you. Meanwhile, it's wrecking your gut, or it's wrecking your hormones, or this, and all of us are so different that these medicines don't all work the same for us. And these relationships and what they do to your inside, because there are certain things like where you self-abandon yourself. You like accept breadcrumb level of effort from others, not just your spouse, but others in general, all relationships. You have been conditioned to, oh, just be a people pleaser and accept little breadcrumbs and just go, oh, what of it? When in fact your body is rebelling and going, no, no more. You are being like a doormat, and your internal system doesn't like it, and it's rebelling now. It's rebelling you and rebelling on you and making you stand up and pay attention that it affects your liver. You hold certain emotions in your liver. Your lungs hold certain emotions. Your heart holds other emotions. Your kidneys hold emotions. Even your neck, your head, all of the things. What I came to learn is that they all hold emotions. And then how to start the path of accessing those emotions to be able to like move energy or have them release, have an emotional release out of those areas to really give word and context to those cringe feelings that you feel, but you can't identify. Like, why am I feeling so upset? Or why is my stomach in absolute anxiety mode when there's really nothing around me consciously, consciously, that is making me anxious? My body is like in full fight or flight mode. And we have, what I came to find out is, me personally and so many other people that I know have been living chronically almost in fight or flight and not even realizing it, because we have not addressed the deeper issues. Or what I come to find, or what I have named personally and coined, the bad door. We have not wanted to go into the bad door and come face to face with all of those emotions, all of those places where we have just allowed ourselves to be, taken advantage of, or to be left out to drive for and never getting the results that we want because we don't think that way. We always put others in front of us, and everyone's life experience is different. But for me, as a like a people pleaser, it was more like the abandoning of myself, that type of thing, which was really the catalyst that was leaving scars all over my body. I don't know what's going on with my hair here, so I don't know. You probably can't see it if you're on podcast, but on my video here is acting a little crazy. But anyway, you realize that you abandon yourself, and then once you begin to pay attention to that, more and more information begins to surface because you opened up the bad door. And suddenly it is like a flood of emotions that I'm not comfortable having because I like to compartmentalize information so that I do not feel discomfort. Because everything behind that stupid bad door is discomfort on some level, whether it's pain, shame, programming, guilt, ick, cringe, all of those shadow parts of our life that we don't like to, we just manage them and we stick them, stuff more and more things behind the bad door. But eventually they're going to demand to be seen, whether it's going to be some sort of an emotional episode, um, or, you know, dis-ease is disease. It's going to come out in a disease because it's been an ongoing irritation of those certain body parts that were unbelievably driven by emotions and being in fight or flight. The whole cortisol and heart, it wears your body down and it wears it out. So that's why I really began to really pay attention because in midlife, I don't assume I'm going to be healthy all the time, right? Because everyone else, when you're younger, you think you're 10 foot tall and bulletproof. But when you get in midlife, you realize you are not 10 foot tall or bulletproof. So it really demands your attention. And so I'm going to kind of do a series on what I have found out specifically with my human design and with this somatic healing and the whole bad door episode, what I have found, what it meant in my body, what it was doing to my body, and worse yet, how it was making decisions for my life. So there were things that I was not able to bring about or successes I wasn't able to have no matter how hard I tried because internally my happiness thermostat or my success thermostat was turned almost all the way down to zero. Where had I known that all of these different parts played such a pivotal role in my trajectory, I would have addressed them a long time ago, but I didn't know. I didn't know it was all part of it, even though I was, you know, taking all these certifications to be a coach and learning all the mindset thing. But what I was really learning was how to control my egoic mind. I was never learning how to control and understand my subconscious mind, which was actually in the driver's seat the entire time without me even knowing it. So it is crazy, and I cannot wait to do this series for you because anyone who's listening, you are going to love this. If you are in this same situation where life is feeling like a grind, or you just cannot understand why things are not leveling up, no matter how much work you put in, or God forbid, your body is given out on you in ways that don't even make sense. Even if you are midlife, like how I feel happy. Do you though? Are you really happy? Did you know that love and money are connected? Are you struggling in both? There's a reason. Love and money, they are connected. So I'm going to do a series on this, and hopefully this will resonate with a lot of you. I believe it will, because so many of us have the same human experience. But this, oh my gosh, human design has been the biggest revelation for me to be able to overcome myself, my conditioning, my past, and really catapult all the ideas that have been percolating for years, things that I've known I could do, but just couldn't slog them across the finish line. Now I can with ease because I have transferred this whole strategy into place. And oh my God, why did I not know about this so long ago? And I've helped my kids too. So anyone who has kids, you need to listen to these next concurring episodes on how this is done. Because honestly, this is the best kept secret that nobody tells you about. And I can make it work with my faith walk too, by the way, for anyone who is worried about that part of it. It does coincide with my faith walk. So that's another part we'll cover. So that's what this series is going to be. I don't know how many versions or whatever episodes it's going to be. I'm just going to keep talking until the message is done. So that's where we're at right now. I look forward to sharing the next couple, maybe month and a half with you on this journey of how this is going to work. And I'm gathering a group together of women who are on this same journey too. If you want to learn what I have learned the hard way, I can maybe give you the hack, the life hack, and the shortcuts to make it happen for you much quicker. And oh my gosh, how your life will change. Holy cow. So I look forward to sharing this with you, and I hope you have a great rest of your week, and we'll meet again soon.